sit down, let me school you. And then they just go, okay, fine, I will just say I like a Mac. I've gone, yes, a Mac is perfectly fine for you. If I want to do any work, like my job, I need this beast of a PC. My friend Don coined the phrase, PCs are like men. You can do whatever you want to them, bash them around, they'll still work. Macs are like women. You need to treat them right. They look very beautiful. And as soon as you think you understand them, they change the rules. Admittedly, this came between the two of us after a good 3 hours into drinking. Not that any of you should drink unless you're over 18. But genius sometimes comes from, stupid places. I love that phrase. I use it often. Other questions? We've got about 10 minutes. We can easily go over Matt and stuff. You don't care, do you, Matt? Excellent. Keep going.
What was your hardest key press configuration have you done?
The hardest thing I've done wasn't actually hard, but it kept changing literally on an hour basis. I described January this year as my month of hell. I was working 18-hour days, redesigning these web pages because it was very specific for the scenes. It was a big thing about the character, very specific. They had to look right. They had to work in a particular way. And every day I'd go into set and the director would change it. Every day. From January 4th to January 25th. I worked 18-hour days changing it. And what was great was my direct boss was like apologizing to me. Very lovely woman. She's going to go, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Can I get you anything? Do you need... And we'd be shooting in a location in a house and I'd take over one of the rooms and it was in Doncaster and every day she'd just come and sit there with me and go, are you okay? Can I get you anything? I'm so sorry. And what was worse was we were waiting to shoot with a live webcam as well because I wanted to shoot for a YouTube-esque video and the actor, director, writer, producer, editor didn't like looking at himself. And I had pointed out in the first meeting in November, you're kind of going to be seeing yourself if you're doing a webcam thing. It's kind of good to know what you're looking at. So that was a difficult... Opposed to that, I've worked with people who, my favourite email was, Jake, you've given me exactly what I've wanted. Now that I've seen it, I don't like it. I'm sorry. Can you now do the following changes? Sweetest people I've ever worked for. Someone who actually admitted that, because I've often been told, you did it wrong. I'm like, no, I gave you exactly what you wanted. You've done it wrong. Okay, I've done it wrong. How can I fix this? Sometimes it's hard because it's a vision thing. It doesn't work practically. I've had an argument and occasionally people who have seen the argument when we work on a new show go, Jake, I remember that conversation you had with Paul. It was very loud and we could hear it 4 blocks away, which was, it was the argument back and forth. Me, this doesn't exist in real life, that's stupid. My boss, Paul, that's right, but we're in television. It's fantasy land, mate. You've got to come to the party. Yes, I'm coming to the party, but this doesn't exist in real life. You're asking for something that looks ridiculous. I won't do it. Back and forth 20 minutes. And I just went, you know what? Technically it should be there. It's going to be up there. Fuck it. You win, I'll do it. But everyone remembers me sitting on the floor in a cowrie so to say, I just don't want this argument anymore. You have to learn humility. You have to sit there and go, yes, I may know more, but I obviously don't know more about what industry I'm in. And it's the hardest thing at times to say that because we know a lot about technology. You people, by being gamers, by being IT people, know 99% more about technology than anyone else. Most people sit there and go, screen, hard drive, computer, and you have to sit there and understand their language. So I often get emails going, the hard drives have arrived, can you come and install the software? I'm like, you mean the computers have arrived? Okay, I'm with you. Because one day, I swear to God, someone will actually deliver hard drives to me and go, fix, they're hard drives. And I'll have to very politely go, yeah, they're hard drives, but you need the rest of the computer now. And I actually fear that I'm going to do that. The worst thing for me is, and the best thing is that the people I work for are very good at their job, they've worked in the industry a very long time, don't like computers. Which means I have a job, as long as they don't like computers or can do the job better than me. I'm not going to try to be an art director, because I'm not. I'm not going to try to be a set constructor, because I'm not. I'm not going to be a camera operator, because that's a weird job. It's okay. I know. Directors are hard jobs. You have to be aware of everything. Yep, see? They're on the internet. But yeah, it's one of those things. It's hard. Anyway, next question. One in the front.
Sure. Just a couple of questions. You mentioned your any key software where you can program it so no matter what key the actor presses, it simulates the key they need to have hit.
Yes.
How you obviously have to reconfigure it to do different combinations of key presses depending on the show or scene. How long does that take? How much work is involved in swapping out? Do you just pin, the new inputs that you need, or do you have to recode it more?
Depends on if the actor is doing it or I'm controlling it. For a lot of the stuff in Rush, I'm operating it, so I can set it up to hit specific keys from my location. I often hide buttons inside the screen itself, so it's just easy to click, because I didn't want to bring the machine in because I hate traveling with it. It's two massive boxes of equipment. It's one machine and it rotates and I wirelessly control it through VNC, but I've set up so all the monitors run across on my VNC. So screen 753, which are our stock standard rolling, I call them my fabulous rolling numbers. If you ever watch Rush, the screen to the right of Leon's head is in every episode. That screen took me 2 hours to do and has been in probably about 30 episodes, and it's to the right of his head. We occasionally call it the American flag because all it has is red, white and blue scrolling through it. There are actual things written there. I'm claiming I'm going to hypnotize actors with it eventually. But it's just there for something to be in the background. There's a lot of, our three main TV screens are where all the interactivity goes on, and I run playback on it through VLC player and Flash and things like that. So sometimes, Grant Brown is great for doing this to me. Every time I see him, he comes in and says, "Jake, I'm working on the next ep. Big ep, big ep. Love the ops room, big ep." And that's all he said to me and walks off. And I cower in a corner because I await the 16 emails that will come in from my boss going, "Here are 57 scenes in the ops room. We need 30 different things for each thing." Sometimes dealing with the actors. On Monday, we were having a login page where the actual actor was typing in. Your phone's ringing? Oh, let me answer it. Sorry, in lectures, if phones ring, I actually go and answer it. And people's parents get very weirded out. It's like, hello? Oh, is this? No, they're in a lecture right now. You shouldn't be calling them. Why? Because you're wasting my time. Would you like to talk to them? Because I can talk to you. And we continue on. But with actors, Bed of Roses is really hard because I literally write paragraphs of text, and it has to be... So one full A4 page has taken me 7 hours to do. Because first you have to copy and paste the text in and make sure it reads right. Then you have to make sure that it's masked correctly per letter, so you can have half letters showing. Then you actually have to do every character, which is good because occasionally what happens is they change the script. And instead of having to, what I used to do was actually write in letter by letter it. And when they changed the script, all I had to do was change the mask, which is a much easier system to deal with and saved me about 7 hours in that process. So depending on the screen, depends on how long it is. One tracking map, if it's just simple, takes me about 3 hours to reconfigure because you have to first edit the map down to the precise location, then figure out the path. The hardest part of my job is figuring out the physics of a car moving across a map at 60 kilometers an hour, then speeding up to 100, and then turning a corner. I've never had to do physics. I never did physics in high school. For some reason now, I do a lot of physics. It's like, and we just did an episode where we had two cars chasing a train and a helicopter was coming to it as well. And they all had to arrive at a location at roughly the same time. So I had to figure out, for that to occur, where the cars had to start, where the helicopter had to start, and where the train was going to go, for them to all meet in this one location. And that takes about an hour of my time. Because you sit there and you watch it run, and it goes, well, that's realistic. So for the reflections, because Rush uses, for some reason, a lot of, has to match what they're talking about to this. And on the day, I'll do changes as well. Like with vision and stuff, we get video footage and they never give me enough time, so I have to fake it. Or what I've done is too fast for the scene, I have to slow it down. And that's become an observant thing I've had to learn on the job. A lot of the stuff I do on the day is because I've learned it. Yesterday we were on set and they had a scene and I saw it and went, I don't have this footage. And the producer was arguing with me, and my boss was arguing with me, going, yeah, you've had this footage. I go, no, we have this footage, but it's not what you want it for. You need to give me a copy. And I had to go up to editing and quickly negotiate them to stop what they were doing to give me the footage. And that's the hardest thing about the job. 7 a.m, people are not happy to be at work. Hope that answered your question. I've got one in the front, so I'm going to grab it.